know it's the year of the dog according to the Chinese, but I guess in the U.S. and the world, we're also saying it is the year of the bird. A lot of great things going on, and we're going to talk with a real expert about, actually two real experts about that. So we have Paul and Ann Schnell back with us. Wonderful to have you guys on.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting us.
Well, you know, I had parakeets as a kid, but you guys are really much more involved with the flying birds of the world, the wild birds. Yes. These are baby birds. I mean, these are tiny compared to what you brought last time.
Yes, these are two of the smaller species that we have in the birds that we use in our education programs. This is Charlie. Charlie is an American kestrel, and kestrels are the smallest falcons that we have here in the United States. And Paul has
Smokey, a western screech owl.
Oh my goodness, are they always that small?
Mm-hmm. These are adult birds.
Yes. I thought it was like a barn owl or something. It's so tiny. Just the cutest little thing. Well, you guys are have founded, I should say, Arizona's Raptor experience here, and you are in the area in Chino Valley now.
Yes, we are.
And you have a special program going on because, as you mentioned, education, we'll talk more about that, but you've got something coming up at Waters Garden Center.
We do. Tomorrow morning, it's part of their Saturday morning classes. So tomorrow morning at 9:30, we'll be at Waters Garden Center. They're on Iron Springs Road here in Prescott. And we're going to be talking about how to attract birds to your yard. And we're going to focus primarily on the different types of vegetation that can attract different kinds of birds, things that are going to provide food and shelter, things like that. So we'll be giving some examples. And we'll also be talking a little bit about birds in particular, some of the conservation issues they face today, things like that. So it is open to the public. Bring your camera, and we hope to see lots of people there with us tomorrow.
That's fun. Now, Arizona's Raptor experience, you do have a focus, and you've been involved in this for a long time. I think it came from, what, New York? Am I right about that?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. It started out as the Institute for Environmental Learning. I traveled with a bald eagle for 27 years throughout New York. We were the only traveling bald eagle team, if you will. Did a lot of work with the Fish and Wildlife Service and the state game folks. We're doing research here in Arizona now too, which is the Kestrel Box program. And we have 32 boxes up thus far, and another 18 to go. So we hope to round out at 50. But we encourage people to put Kestrel boxes up in their yard, and we can help folks with planning and placement and construction. We actually, the Arizona Falconers Association has provided significant funding to build the boxes, and we do that just as a give back. There's a lot of environmental issues happening between Prescott and Chino Valley. You know, 20,000 homes are potentially going to be built here, and that build out is going to erase a lot of wildlife and habitat. That we know that the groundwater resources are being depleted, and we don't see any leadership of any consequence, and certainly not science-based here in this region. So we use birds of prey as an environmental barometer, Sandy. Yeah. So we try to make people aware that birds do matter. There's 10,000 species, and unfortunately half of the species on the planet are threatened with extinction in the next 20 to 30 years. So that's what birds give us back.
Yeah, we're, you know, talk about, well, okay, I'm going to say spay-neuter, but we're not getting spay-neutered. I'm afraid we're taking over the world. The population's really, like doubled. You know, we have like almost 12 billion people versus like 6 billion, 19. Okay, that was a good stand on. But birds, you know, we really have to be aware of the creatures in our world because they keep the world working, the environmental world working, and birds are a big, big part of that.
It's huge. When their numbers decline, and half of all raptor species in the U.S. to some degree are at risk, it's always goes back to one species, us. We're producing 140 babies net increase on the planet every minute. Here in Arizona, 300 people a day are moving in, and it's totally unsustainable. But the leadership, again, even the conservation organizations that should be screaming and shouting are silent because they're money base. They don't want to insult and isolate the money base. We are independent. We own the business. We own some of the birds, and some are native and property of the government, if you will. We borrow them. but we're not a rehab organization or a sanctuary or whatever they call them. We
More
are
the
scientists.
education, certainly. Well, and you know, as individuals, we're going to have to get involved in some of these the big issues, but birds are something that are very important. And tell us a little bit about, now can we make our own kestrel boxes, and do we have a lot of kestrels? Are we trying to attract more to Arizona? What?
Yeah, actually kestrels are on the decline throughout the United States, throughout North America, through most of their range. In some places their populations have gone down as much as 80%. And we think that that's due to a variety of things. One of them, of course, is development and loss of habitat. But also, people need to realize that something like a dead tree in your yard, it's important to leave that tree standing if it's not going to do any damage when it falls, because small birds like kestrels and screech owls will use cavities in those dead trees to nest. And so the Kestrel project that we're involved with Arizona Game and Fish is based on increasing nesting habitat for kestrels. And so these boxes, this one that Paul made, these boxes are relatively easy to make. We actually have plans on our website. If you look at Meet the Birds and you look at Charlie and Smokey's descriptions, there's a link to the boxes so that you can make them on your own. We also have worked with a lot of people to put them up in our local area in Chino and Prescott.
And this suits both of them?
It will, yes.
Okay.
Actually, it will, yes. These are designed, mostly the project is focusing on kestrels because their populations have gone down. So increasing their nesting habitat is the goal.
Do you put this on your house or you put it on a tree?
The best thing to do is to put it on a tree, but not everybody has the appropriate type of tree or can put it up high enough. You can also put it on a pole, side of a barn. You know, we're willing to answer questions for anybody that asks.
Well, we have information on the screen again. Meet you guys over there at 9:30 Waters Garden Center on Iron Springs. You're going to have live birds there to talk about how very important it is to have them in our world and to take care of them. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
And Paul Schnell, appreciate it. And Charlie and Smokey, cutest eyelashes ever. All right.